The Deathstroke Knights and Dragons movie starts with a bang, but ends in a whimper. Hey everybody, AAA here, and today I am reviewing Deathstroke Knights and Dragons, the brand new DC animated movie.
Deathstroke.
Interesting thing about this one, though, is it wasn't originally a movie. Rather, it was originally a series of short films that showed online on the CWC, which I know extremely little about. So when this dropped, I was aware of it, but had no idea how to watch it back when it started in January. So when the news came later on that the 12-episode short film animated series would be compiled into a single animated film, I sort of rejoiced because now I had a more convenient way of watching it. Deathstroke Knights and Dragons is about the titular DC villain slash sometimes anti-hero's origin and his struggles against the terrorist group called the Hive. This movie is sort of unfortunate because it starts out really amazing and I really love the first half of this movie, but unfortunately it suffers quite a bit in the second half. And this is primarily due to the pacing. The first half of the movie has really amazing pacing for an action movie. It's very fast and balances out the action very well with the drama. There is actually a very good story beneath all the action set pieces of Deathstroke Knights and Dragons, and I am glad to say that it's not tossed aside just to focus on the action. The drama of the story and the amazing and extremely brutal action of the movie is actually very well balanced, especially once again in the first half. You get good beats of action, then drama to balance it out, then action again, the drama again, and so on and so forth. It keeps you on your toes in the movie, keeps you very invested in what is happening, and on Deathstroke and the other main characters, and it moves everything along rather nicely.
And oh yes, there is the little matter of my fee. Which I am delighted to pay.
Unfortunately, this kind of goes to a full stop somewhere in the second half where the movie becomes way more imbalanced in that it becomes mostly drama with some action. So I could characterize the first half of the movie as a really good action film with a really good story. The second half I can characterize more as a heavy family drama with some action here and there. And you feel this shift in tone and pacing very much and quite abruptly. And it really throws everything off balance and makes the movie much less enjoyable than it should have been. Now, once again, I really like the story of this movie. All of the family drama is, I think, very smartly written. And Deathstroke struggles with his inner identity crisis, which I found interesting because Deathstroke is typically portrayed as this cold, calculating villain that is perfect in his schemes and has everything very well planned ahead. He's literally an evil Batman in a lot of his portrayals, but here he's a very flawed family man who has no idea which he wants more in his life. His job, which is being an assassin mercenary, it's a pretty cool job for this sort of character, or a devoted family man. He wants both very much, but has no idea how to balance that out. And so both of those goals suffer very much in the end.
But you're a mercenary. And the people that you love have paid a terrible price.
Which, come to think of it, mirrors the execution of the movie, unfortunately. The movie has no idea if it wants to prioritize the awesome, brutal, and very well executed action versus the intense family drama and inner struggles of its main character. And again, because of this approach, it really suffers in the end. The main villain of the piece, called the Jackal, which I am actually not that familiar with in the original comics lore, is also, unfortunately, not that well executed. He has a great entrance, and he comes off very cool, but throughout much of the movie, he pretty much disappears, and we don't get to see him through extended periods of time. So when he shows up at the end to execute his master plan and take down Deathstroke and all of these grand things that this sort of animated action movie is supposed to end at, we don't really connect with him, and we're left feeling, this guy again? What's he gonna do? So he's not a great villain because the movie spends extremely little time developing him, plus it never shows his face. He literally never takes off his helmet. Here, his face is covered completely like Spider-Man, so he has no facial expressions or anything like that throughout the entire movie to accompany his extreme lack of backstory. And so we're left with a villain that is really just a set piece. He's just another obstacle for Deathstroke to shoot his way through or slice apart. And it's just unfortunate because this sort of underwhelming villain really makes the second half of this movie suffer even more.
Where's my boy? Where's Joseph?
Will you join Hive? Or will my man slit little Joseph's throat here and now?
Now, I believe all of this is because of the format that this movie originally was in. Again, it was originally supposed to be a 12-episode short film series that you could watch online. And maybe this sort of approach worked better in its original format, but compiled like this in movie form doesn't work very well. The animation is also very good overall, but is rather inconsistent. Parts of it, thankfully, most of the action sequences are very well done, but then much of the rest of the movie feels average or below average at best in the animation department. The designs of the characters and the overall stylistic approach to the film overall is something I actually really love. The designers went out of their way to make the whole movie feel like you're flipping through the pages of an actual DC comic. They even used dot shading very well throughout the piece. It doesn't feel out of place, and when you see it, when you notice it, it actually makes the whole movie come alive even more, and makes everything look cooler, and makes you appreciate the source material of the comic books. Unfortunately though, awesome dot shading and great character designs and some really well executed action sequences that are once again extremely brutal and really make the most out of the R rating of this movie are unfortunately not enough to save it in the end. And so I have to give Deathstroke Knights and Dragons a 6 out of 10. It's just above average. It's alright. It's not terrible, but it's not gonna impress either, unfortunately.
I'm a knight, like the ones in our favorite book. Roaming a dangerous world. And I don't want those dragons to hurt you, ever again.
What did you guys think of Deathstroke Knights and Dragons? Did you love it? Or did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. And this has been Asian Action Actor. If you liked my review of Deathstroke Knights and Dragons, please click like down below and subscribe to see the rest of my awesome content. While you're here, you might want to see the other movie reviews that I have already done on my channel.